Hey, what's going on, guys? What's going on? My name is Dr. Boyce Watkins, and I want to welcome you to Pillow Talk with Dr. Boyce and Dr. Alicia Watkins. My name is Dr. Boyce Watkins. I'm here with my lovely wife, Dr. Alicia Watkins. How you doing today, babe?
I'm doing well. Good morning. Thanks for the introduction. I'm doing pretty good. You know what? I'm kind of excited today
Excited
because
about what?
because I am starting Queen Afua's detox.
What?
And I had to study. I'm gonna tell you, it's not intuitive how to do her detox. So I studied it a few weeks ago and I'm determined to start it today. But like I get this impression that you gotta stay close to the bathroom. Like her
Okay.
detox, I think is just gonna flush you out.
Okay, so you're gonna be clean.
I'm gonna be all clean on the inside.
Okay, so when I talk to you, I'll be like, my wife used to be full of crap, but
Not
not
anymore.
anymore. Okay, that's good. I'm glad to hear
And
that.
I'd hope you do it with me one day.
I'll consider doing it. I love Queen Afua. She was at the All Black National Convention. We had a great time, and it was awesome to meet her in person. And she is the picture of health.
Look at her. How old is she? Was she like 90 years old, looking like she's
No, she's
50?
not. She's not 90, but I think she's like in her 70s. And you're right.
Good
She has
grief.
more energy than most 40-year-olds, 35-year-olds, and she needs to be the real Dr. Fauci. What
Oh
do y'all think?
gosh.
I nominate Queen Afua as the Minister of Health for the Black community.
Well, wait, you also have the Minister of Health, who's also excellent.
The Minister of Wellness, Nathaniel
Oh,
Jordan.
Minister of Wellness. Sorry about that.
Yeah,
Yeah.
no, that's a
He's also great. Oh my goodness.
Oh yeah.
Learned so
He's
much from
amazing.
him.
He's amazing. So let's jump
Hmm.
into our topic today. Say hello. Shout out your city in the chat. Let us know which city you're from, and I want to say welcome to everybody. And I see Rob is in here already with comments, and at rest 2K. I see Eliza Howard says, "Why do people care about other people's private business? Is there such a thing as privacy anymore?" That's a great
Yeah.
point.
Yeah, but
Let's start.
she made okay, you want to start the topic. She made an announcement.
Yeah.
Venus Williams made an
Well,
announcement.
well,
So
that
there's something to that.
Well, here's the thing. A lot of the major media outlets didn't really cover it. I saw it on a lot of different platforms,
Yeah, but
right?
we
So
care.
I say allegedly. I put a question mark there because I didn't hear it directly from her mouth. But here's the thing, right? And I do agree that's a great comment Eliza made because it's first of all, two things about being a public celebrity. One is when you choose to go public with your private life, you can't expect privacy anymore, right? If you want something to be private, then you should keep it private, right? That's the first
Well,
thing.
once you say it, it's not private anymore.
Right. So that so
Hmm.
there so you can't say, well, I'm gonna tell everybody my business, and then I want you to respect my privacy. Well, no, you didn't respect your privacy. So so that's the first point. But then the second point with that is, I typically on Pillow Talk. The thing I like about our show is we're not here really to just talk about Venus or to just talk about somebody's personal life. It's really more so about sort of the extrapolation, the bigger picture.
She's an it, I I think our topics is just an illustration of other things.
Oh,
Why can't we
absolutely.
just use it as an illustration? There's nothing wrong with that.
Well, I think it's a
I'm
microcosm.
defending that. I'm defending the illustrations that we're using to make a point.
Yeah, but you don't have to be defensive. Remember, that's one of the four, what they call the four horsemen of an argument.
Hmm.
Defensiveness, stonewall. Let me see. Hold on, wait.
Hmm.
Contempt, criticism, defensiveness, and stonewalling. So
Hmm.
I don't think you have to be defensive. I think it's more
Hmm.
so about clarity, just understanding. Like,
Well, I
look,
mean, sometimes it's okay. Like sometimes stonewalling, you do it intentionally. You're like, I'm going to stonewall right now, but I'll get back to you. I guess technically that wouldn't be stonewalling, but sometimes I'm you can be passive aggressive. I'm going to be passive aggressive right now and just
mm,
not deal with it. Like it's okay if you're conscious of it, I suppose.
yeah, that's a possibility.
So
Like,
I'm just saying, like, I don't want us to get to a point where we have to like over explain everything. People tune in, they want to hear us. If they don't want to
no,
hear
well,
us, then that's fine. But
I
I
agree.
think we're interesting.
I think we are too. I think we are too. I don't know. What do y'all think? Do you think this is worth talking about?
I
So
think it's worth
so
talking
let me
about.
start with a question to ask the audience this, right? And I'll explain to you privately later why I want to make sure I communicate because I want people I want to communicate. I don't want to talk about like just Venus Williams' dating life. That's not really the topic. The topic is to kind of say, What does this mean? Like I like when I heard this, a lot of things came to mind. I thought about other examples where I had a long conversation with a black woman who was 34 years old, who had never had sex, and she caved in to have sex with a guy. Right? This was I kid you not. This happened to me when I was
What do you
literally.
mean caved in?
Well, let me just tell you what happened. So it was about probably 13 years ago, and she had been reading my articles and or something, and she emailed me and she said, Dr. Boyce, I have something I really need to talk to you about. Something terrible just happened. Can you call me? And it was a Friday night. I was bored, so I was
Is
like,
this somebody you knew?
no. And
So you just call strange women you don't know?
well, that time, that in that moment, yes, because it's
That's
my
bizarre.
because it
Okay.
was my right to do that, and that's what I
I
did.
know, but I,
So
I
I
can
know.
weigh in on it.
You can, sure, but I consider the people that follow my platform and support me to be like family. Like I'm not scared to talk to my people, right? So anyway, so I talked to her, right? So let me tell you what her story was. She said that she said about my whole life, my pastor told me to wait, until God sent me my husband, and she said that but I had a moment of weakness, and I met a man, and I slept with him. And I said, okay, so I think God will forgive you. I think you can, pray for forgiveness, right? And she said, yeah. She said, I feel terrible. And what she said though that was really interesting was, she said, so we were having sex, and I was reading something that you wrote where you said that everybody in a sexual relationship should ask their partner, at some point, to consider getting like a test for HIV, you know. So she said, I turned to him and said, let's get an HIV test together.
Wait, and is this in the middle of the act?
After it was when they were done. They were just laying
Who
there.
is this? She's
It was their
very nascent
it
when it
was their
comes
pillow
to
talk.
like sex education.
Yeah, yeah.
So
So
she just thought of 34 years old and she just thought of an HIV test afterward, after the fact.
right, exactly,
All right, so
exactly.
that's
Yeah,
problematic and
well,
in
I'm
so
not here.
many
I'm not
different
here to. Well,
areas.
I'm not here to judge. I'm not here. I'm not going to judge her choices. So here's what. So she said that when she asked him to go with her to get the test, he said, "Sure, absolutely, no problem." And then she said, "I never heard from him again." And I remember she was very scared. And I remember just kind of saying, you know, I kind of think God will forgive you, right? And I don't really know if the church. This is what I'm getting at, right?
Do you want to talk about the church?
Well, I'm not want to talk about the church per se, but
Okay.
if it
You're
goes,
going to talk about the church, but not talk about the
well, if
church.
it goes there, it goes there. But I
Okay.
remember there was a really angry lady named Deborah Cooper who wrote an article a long time ago called um, "Does the Black Church Keep Women Single and Lonely?" And what she was basically referring to, which I did not disagree with, is that there are lots of church leaders who tell their mostly female congregations, do not have sex with anybody until you get married or unless he goes to church. And as a result, it kind of creates like an awkwardness.
Wait, unless he goes to church. So you can do it before you get married if he's a God-fearing man.
I don't know. I don't. It depends on the
I
church.
just am really curious about that. Okay.
Yeah.
I'm trying to use logic here, boys. That's my whole thing.
Well, I'm the logical. Remember, I'm the mathematician. So
Okay.
Danisha says this doctor is very judgmental. So stop being judgmental.
Hey,
Da- Danisha
that's my
Danisha
that's my
says stop
job.
judging.
Every day. Every day I'm assessing and looking and analyzing. That's part of who I am and part of what I do. And
Okay.
that's why people come to me. So
Okay, Judge Judy.
and that's why we're doing this pillow talk. I'm going to weigh in.
The
I'm going to weigh in on it. So
People's
whatever it
Court,
is,
starring Dr. Alicia.
whatever it is, it's just a 34-year-old woman who didn't even think to have certain standards before she allowed someone into her space in that way to have
Well,
that experience. So,
let's talk about that.
that's more about health education that I'm more concerned about and decision making,
Right. And let's talk about that though,
you
right?
know.
Let's talk about that. You know, I felt that her standards might have been a little too rigid. Not that but now I didn't tell her that.
Too
But
rigid,
yeah,
really?
yeah, because when you talk about being a virgin, right? Just talking about just as a layperson, not as a person of faith. I completely respect Venus Williams' beliefs. She's a Jehovah's Witness. They're
Hmm.
very convicted, right? They have a lot of strong belief systems, and I'm not here to evaluate that, but just when you talk about the idea of being a virgin, there's a nobility to it till you're about 23 years old,
Why 23?
maybe 22 then,
Why 22?
because
How do
that's
you pick a
because
number,
th-
Boyce? Like for
because
real?
that's the number that came to my head. God gave me that number. So here's the deal. The world according to Boyce. We're doing the world
Yeah,
according to Boyce.
I don't think it's related to a number, and I think that's what I'm trying to get at. I think
Right.
it's. Hmm.
Okay. But here's the thing, right?
Okay.
So it's noble until you're, to me, it's noble till you're about 22. Then when you get about 28, 27, 28, it starts to become a little strange because you're not, you're not really in sync anymore with the dating market broadly, right? You're very niche now,
So
right?
you think it's strange. So now you're judging.
I'm not judging.
What?
I'm talking about
So
my.
you're judging, but
No, I'm
not
judging. I'm
judging.
judging me. I'm judging my choices, right? My evaluation,
But you
right?
said it was a little
My
strange.
personal, right? But listen, listen,
Okay.
listen. Let me finish. So then you get to be 30, 31. Now your clock is, if for a woman, your clock is ticking. Women get really. I read about this. I read. I'm scientific with my stuff. I read about women's sexuality, and around 30 years old, they start getting super horny, and it's not just a sex thing. It's a nature thing. Your body's saying, okay, I want to have a baby badly. That's why a lot of women start getting married and getting engaged at, around late 20s, early 30s. Or they date guys and they'll say things that men don't, my male friends don't typically say things like this. They'll say, I dated this guy for 9 months and he wasted my time. A lot of men will be like, yeah, I dated her for 9 months. It was cool. But we moved on, like it was fun. We had a lot of
Hmm.
good sex. Now I'm gonna move on. Like remember, I got married in my 40s, right? I don't think if I were a woman, it would be seen the same way. I think it would probably be a sacrifice a lot of people may not want to make, right? So long story short, I would say that saying I'm a virgin at 41, what that says to me as a man is that you have a mountain, Mount Kilimanjaro, and no man has ever been able to climb that mountain. And I believe people are sexual, and I think, I don't know how that's going to be, how that would be perceived by most people. But then again, if you're in that category, if you're Jehovah's Witness and you're that convicted, you probably aren't a fit for most people anyway. What do you think?
Okay, so I think that I don't think that there's a number when it comes to when you're ready for that level of intimacy. I think that there are some developmental tasks that you have at a certain age, and so the pressure is on you. I mean, just like an infant, an infant needs to be able to roll around in the bed by a certain age. There's like certain milestones of tasks that you're expected to adhere to, and given the stage model of development. And so I think that when you become like a young adult, part of the pressure that's put on you is intimate relationships and love relationships. So I think that, during that time, you're starting to look out like it's just a normal process. That you're starting to look out. You're raised by your parents mostly, but then after a certain age, it starts getting into peer relationships. And so you're looking for a significant other, whatever your sexuality is, you explore it. And so you're looking to have this intimate relationship with another person. And I think that that's okay, and so it should be more than just I'm very concerned. I am very concerned about this 34-year-old that says she was duped, that called you some random, I don't know, I call him a random lady that wants you to reach out to her to talk to her about her having an intimate situation, which she felt pressured into it. Like that concerns me, that you feel pressured. Where's the relationship? Where's the connection there? So that's part of it, of healthy. If you're a secure person and in your household you grew up with secure attachments, when you get older you're going to have secure, fulfilling sexual life. And so people who are very anxious, people who are very avoidant, people who are very disorganized in their relationship with other people aren't going to be as fulfilled in their sexual life. So it's just an extension of who you are anyway. So I really just, when I look at someone like Venus, why is she avoiding, if this is really it, why is she avoiding this sort of level of intimacy at this age? Like, what is going on with her that she's not willing to take it? Now, mind you, they had childhoods that were unusual. I mean, we saw the movie about King James, and so it wasn't a usual childhood. So that comes into question. Now, I also wonder, did she herself make this? Did she herself say, I am a 42-year-old virgin? Did she say that herself, or is this
That's
like a
well,
rumor?
from what I've read, I read a few different publications. None of them were like USA Today or People Magazine. It was more like a lot of blogs. A ton of blogs were reporting on it,
Okay, because I
and
know she was
so
dating,
yeah.
so we just,
Well, well,
you know.
my concern isn't so much just about Venus per se. I'd be curious to know what people think.
No, the reason why I wanted to make that, the reason why I was asking that question is because sometimes there'll be someone who wants to make a point. So maybe she is publicly saying, I'm a virgin because she wants to make a point because she was trying to promote her level of religion. Or what is she, a Jehovah Witness? She's trying to promote Jehovah Witness. And so in that, she's saying, I am not married and I'm going to wait till I'm married. And so I am a virgin right now because I'm not married. So that was the question. That was the reason why I asked that question, is because is she trying to make a statement?
I don't know.
You know,
So I can't speak to that. Now
well,
what I
that's why I asked.
what I would ask you is what if you talk about secure attachments, you talk about
Hmm.
peer relationships, you talk about developmental stages, you talk about, attachment, and how that affects sexuality.
Hmm.
What if Venus just, or not just Venus? I'm
Hmm.
not just talking about Venus. I'm talking about, you know, hundreds of thousands of other people who might have a deep commitment to their faith. Black women are actually, I don't know if y'all know this, but studies show Black women are the most religious group of people in America. The most religious group of people in America. Some people think that's a good thing. Some people think it can be limiting sometimes, and I can speak to both of those. But what if she just says, I'm not having sex before marriage because that's what I believe. Like, I'm a Jehovah's Witness, and y'all know what it is. Y'all know Jehovah's Witnesses don't play. Like, they'll be like, I saw you trick or treating. You're going to hell. Like they're pretty heavy. They're pretty intense. So
I
what
mean,
if what if? But hold
Jehovah.
on, wait, give me a second.
I was going to comment
I,
on
I,
Jehovah
well,
Witness.
hold on. I'm gonna let you, but no, let's not make fun of them. No, we're not.
I'm not. I said I was going to comment on Jehovah
Okay,
Witness
okay,
voice.
okay, got it. But what
Listen.
I would say is that they're pretty serious. So what if she just says, you know, I understand conviction. I'm committed to a certain idea, and I don't, and that's just the choice I made. Like, why can't it just be that? Why would it have to be sort of put in some sort of psychiatric category as opposed to
Okay.
just simply being a personal choice?
Okay. I don't know what you mean by psychiatric category. I'm not
Like,
clear about that
well, when you
term.
talk about secure attachments versus,
But that has nothing to do
um,
with psychiatric.
or
Like psychiatric is something
or
else.
psychological or social or therapeutic or whatever category you want to put it into.
Well, that's what it is, though. That's what people who study human development and why people do what they do. There's a whole plethora of information to try to figure out why people do what they're doing, why people do and behave and act as they do.
Oh,
I was speaking more along with the relationship aspect. If she has conviction where she is waiting till she gets married to have intercourse, then at 42, I'm talking about what's happening and that she is not opening up and that she has failed in that developmental task of trying to find a special somebody. Because if she found a special somebody, then she would be maybe married, because I know that's what they promote in the Jehovah Witness church, is they promote marriage. And a lot of times, sometimes they're arranged. I've seen situations where they will just set you up with somebody in the church. They'll just decide that this is what you need to do at this point, and set you up. I've seen all sorts of scenarios with Jehovah Witnesses, and how they operate, and they're just like any other religion. There's some really good hearted Jehovah Witness. There's good hearted Christians and Baptists, and then there's some also people who are manipulative and exploitive as well, in all religions.
mhm.
And I'm
Okay.
Catholic, so Catholic religion for sure is part of that.
Okay, so let me ask everybody who's watching. By the way, you're listening to Pillow Talk with Dr. Boyce and Dr. Alicia Watkins. This is where you get a chance to hear what two college professors who love each other say when we're laid against our pillows. We like to intellectualize about stuff. Is there any particular reason why? Not really. We just like sharing ideas and communicating. So that's what we do. There's a lot of ignorance out here on the internet. We're trying to promote some intelligence. So if you could please hit the thumbs up button, thumbs up, thumbs up, thumbs up. You can also follow Dr. Alicia at Coaching with Dr. Alicia, or you can go to coachingwithdralicia.com. So I want to ask y'all a question. I want y'all to everybody answer this question for me. Let me know. You ready? You ready? I want everybody to answer the question. Everybody who's listening, just type one word. All right. So you're going on a date with somebody. You're single. Let's imagine if you're single and you date somebody who's 41 years old, male or female, and they say, "I'm a 41-year-old virgin." Is that honorable or weird? What do you think? Honorable, weird, both, neither?
No, make them choose
Okay,
honorable or weird, because
honorable. Okay,
both
there we
is
go.
like
Okay, honorable
that's
or
not an
weird? What do
answer.
y'all think? Honorable or weird? Okay, she. Okay, let's see here. I'm looking at. Anissa says it's sad. Jalen De Blake says weird. Precious says honorable. My name is Corey says honorable. Immortal One says weird. Jermaine Brown says strange. That was one of the choices, Jermaine. You didn't
That's
understand the
okay. That's
assignment.
okay, Jermaine. Use your own adjective. You don't
Jermaine,
have to fit into our.
Jermaine, you gonna get
You
a
don't have
D
to.
on the test, Jermaine.
No, no, you don't have to. You don't have to fit in our category.
No, I'm kidding. I'm
I
kidding.
like that.
I'm kidding.
I
Jermaine,
like that. It's strange. Yeah, I would. I
yeah.
would see it. I would see it as a little peculiar,
Mm,
and I for sure
well,
would have a lot of questions. Like, what is okay? All right, religious. Okay, I kind of get it. So,
okay,
who did you find? Who did you? I mean, she's strictly in the religion, and I don't know if those guys that she dated, if they were Jehovah Witness.
right. Well,
So
let me read more of the
that's pretty
let me
interesting.
read more of the response. Okay,
She's
so
dating out of the church.
yes, she is. Monica says weird. Miss Judah
Mm-hmm.
says honorable. Mitch Mo says both. Yolanda says noble. Tammy says honorable. Tasha, is that Tasha Laditi? Says both. Time K Kia Jeff says honorable. Anissa the Queen says honorable. Mama Julie says both. Raquina says honorable. Jeff honorable. Samuel honorable. Jay says weird. Okay, well, you know what? I think
It's a
that's
mix of two.
there's a big mix,
Yeah.
but it sounds like there's a lot of people listening who feel that it's honorable. That like you're 41, you didn't have any sex, not well vaginal sex. That's remember because a lot of people. Okay, let's just be
You can
honest.
have sexual relations.
Right, a lot of people, they go that Monica
That's kind of
Lewinsky.
cheating, though. That's
They go that
cheating.
Monica Lewinsky route. Like I did not have sex with that woman.
That's like getting caught up on a technicality. Like a
Right.
like, okay, well then if that's the case, then what's the point? What's the point? It's like a loophole. We found a loophole into it, which just kind
Or
of
an
gets me.
alternative hole. Hey girl, you got any loopholes on you? Oh
It's like you
guys.
go to the church retreats and they're just like, let me tell you a way around it.
I
Come
think
on over here. Let me show you some things.
let
You can't have intercourse, but you can do this.
yep. You know what? I mean, come on. Let's just
Like, come
well, I
on.
mean, if you really have a grown up conversation about it, I do remember talking to someone I knew who was very religious, who was in that virgin category, and I got the sense that they would. She was it was religious, and I got the sense that, like, yeah, when she was like 12, she said she went to summer camp with other girls, and
Yeah, they teach you the game.
that's when they teach you those those special skills that can keep the relationship interesting. And I and I'm not judging it. It's interesting though, right? It's kind of like I wonder if we put too much weight on sex sometimes anyway, like like why would I be better than you because I didn't have sex with anybody, you know till
Mm.
40. I don't know. I don't know. I don't know. I just
Because, if you think about it, wouldn't it be nice? I would love to see someone like Venus Williams to find a person, I don't know her sexuality, her sexual orientation, to find a mate who is also a virgin, who is part of the church, who both of them can be together in that way. And when they're married, wouldn't that be beautiful?
yeah,
Find another virgin, because there are male virgins too,
yeah,
who are part of the church,
yeah.
and that would be ideal, right?
I
But I
mean,
think it would be kind of strange. The strangeness would be, okay, you're with this seasoned person and then you're just a virgin. That puts a lot of pressure.
I think it's ideal, but I mean, it could be ideal for some people, but honestly, I feel like I don't really know.
Theoretically, that's what they're saying.
I'll say this as a man, I would be very embarrassed to be 41 years old and a virgin. It just wouldn't. Now, then again, maybe if I was deep in a religion, maybe somebody would give me an award or some cookies or something for it. But
Can
for,
you reclaim your virginity? I think you can.
Oh, that's
There's things you can do to reclaim
another
it.
loophole.
There we go.
Interesting.
I mean,
Okay.
come on, just make it up as you go along. I'm gonna declare myself a virgin.
And you got 3
Three
kids.
children. There we go.
My mom has been a virgin my whole life.
There we go. See,
Yeah,
it
my
was it
mama.
was immaculate conception.
It was my mama got pregnant from God.
Just you can make whatever rules up. I mean, if religion can teach us anything, religion can just say, look, we can look at these principles and then we can just interpret it and make it
Mm.
up and turn it into policy and procedures.
That's true. Well, let me. You know what? JJ made a donation, so I
Okay.
should read JJ's
What
comment.
did JJ say?
JJ said, "If a woman over 18 says she's a virgin in this Cardi B hot girl summer generation, women will assume that she's trying to finesse free food out of them, or men will assume she's trying to finesse free food out of them, or that she's just loony. Virgins are very rare. That's
Oh,
well, let's talk about that comment though.
I was going to say something.
Well, let me say this real quick. Is that okay? Okay. I think that there's a point to that, right? I think that we do have I actually just yesterday I tweeted. I don't know how people felt about it, but I said, why is it? I saw somebody sent me a black woman sent me a link to a new Cardi B video, and again, it's all about licking a woman's vagina. That's what the song is about, right?
Wait,
And
Cardi B's doing that?
yeah, there's a new Cardi B video about licking
Whew.
the
She
cooch.
got no limits, does she?
Right. And I kind of just I remember saying, why is it that whenever female rappers get promoted, in mainstream media, they have to be doing hoish things. Like they have to just be as sexual as possible. And so I do agree with what they're saying in the sense that it seems to me that we've kind of lost our appreciation for people that have integrity and just, or maybe respect their bodies. Like they're promoting sort of very reckless,
Hmm.
irresponsible behavior. Then you have baby mama, baby daddy crap going on everywhere, and because nobody's making any plans, everybody's just having sex with the cutest person they can find.
Yeah, so okay, I want to make a comment to what you said, and then I want to make a comment to this comment. Which one should I do first? Okay,
That's
my
fine.
comment to this comment, I can't read that with the who is that right there? John
JJ. Just say
JJ.
JJ.
Yeah, so with JJ's comment, I would say that how do we know? How do we know if someone's still a virgin? What do we do? Like from the olden times, from medieval times, we check up there and see if you still have. I think there's a way for you to check if a woman is a virgin or not. And
Mm.
so, like, how do you even
The
know
hymen.
the hymen?
Ti talked about the hymen.
Yeah, I mean, like, what are you supposed to do? Just check a hymen? Like, are we getting to that right now? Like, that's kind of
Hyman wasn't
bizarre.
Hyman the name. Hyman Roth was the Jewish man in The Godfather.
Oh wow.
His
Okay.
first name was Hyman.
What a heck of a name.
That's what I think about when I think about the word Hyman. But go ahead.
Hymen. Okay. Yeah. So I mean,
I'm Hyman
I just think
Roth.
that's interesting. So okay, I want to comment on what you said. It's okay. So what you're bringing up is two extremes. You're bringing up someone who's just like, don't come near me with that. I'm totally gonna be celibate. I don't know if she didn't say. I don't know if she's celibate, but I'm gonna call it celibate. I'm totally gonna be celibate at this point until I get married. And then you have someone like Cardi B, who's just like a pleasure seeker. It's like married or not
Mm,
married, I'm just gonna do it. Man, woman, transgender, whatever it is, if you bringing it, I'm going to be a pleasure seeker and I'm going to be out there. So I think it's just really interesting. You have that two levels of extreme of just not doing it at all and just being and we talk about it as if you can be one or the other. And there is a balance, Boyce.
hmm
There's a balance with how you're supposed to be able to deal
Yeah,
with
I think I
relationships.
think I feel like most people I meet have been in the middle, right? Or most people I know
That's why it's the middle.
that have sense, right? Most people I
Yeah.
know that have sense are in the middle, and so they'll look at a Cardi B and they'll say, if you act like that, you're gonna end up in a lot of bad situations. There's sexual assaults that happen in those strip clubs. There's drug addiction. There's people get robbed and beaten, and
There's diseases.
right. There's diseases everywhere, right? Bad things are gonna happen, if you're not sexually responsible, right? And it's interesting to me how rarely anybody says that, right? Which kind
Mhm.
of speaks to, you know, um what
Mhm.
media has done to our brains in terms of killing our critical
Mhm.
thinking ability.
And then
But
on the
then,
other
well, hold on, wait.
extreme,
Let me.
I was just going to say on the other extremes, bad things can potentially happen if you stop yourself from having that level of intimacy with another person.
Right,
You
right.
know, so
Okay.
you're denying yourself. I just want to add that.
Okay. So I wanted you to finish your whole point. So let me just finish
Okay.
this whole point real quick. So, so on one extreme you've got that Cardi B culture, which we know it ends badly, and I just, I see this, and I don't know if it makes me old fashioned to say, if you having sex with everybody that moves, you're gonna catch diseases, you're gonna have kids you don't want to have, you're gonna end up in situations that are gonna ruin your life. It's gonna ruin your wealth, your health, your relationships, and everything that matters to you. You have to, you have to respect your sex organs, respect your body, respect your womb. Your womb is precious. Like, why would you just share it with any raggedy man that walks by?
Makes
But then,
sense.
right?
Yeah.
But then that other extreme, I'm not comfortable with. I would just say when I was dating, and I was single when I was Venus's age, and I met a lot of nice women. And I would just tell you, when I did meet a woman who said something like, "I'm 35 years old and I'm a virgin," what that really said to me was that there's a good chance maybe you've built a wall, and it's a wall that's been unclimbable by any other man. It reminds me of those fairy tales where they talk about the princess, where all the soldiers went to go try to save the princess from the dragon. They all got killed before you. I never wanted to be that knight in shining armor that figured out how to crack the uncrackable code.
So religion can sometimes, or those restrictions can sometimes make you afraid. You're just like, oh my God, I'm so scared to be with somebody. You know, that's a possibility too. I'm scared because what's going to happen? This person's going to, you have this sort of negative outlook about it, and you can't let yourself go. I mean, it's something
Hmm.
to like being real tight like that, and then, and reserved and very avoidant in the way that you react to things.
Hmm.
Individuals like that have a very hard time with their sexual life.
Yeah, I can see that. I can really see
You
that.
got to be free.
Yeah, yeah, and then I think there's a conversation to be had about the church. I don't. It's interesting. Deb Cooper is a person that I don't see eye to eye with. She would
Who's
probably,
Deb Cooper?
you could Google her, but
Oh,
she would be defined more so as a pretty strong, like extra strong feminist, right? And not all feminists are gonna have the same ideas, right? It's all across the spectrum, but she's pretty strong. She says things that some have even defined to be anti-man, and I remember when she wrote her article about the Black church, and I didn't disagree with everything she said. In her view, she said that the church is this institution that's typically run by men, where the followers typically are mostly women and gay men. And there are a few straight men in the church for sure. We know this, right? We know they exist, but there's not a lot there. A lot of guys I know, say, "Hey, I'd rather stay home, sleep in, watch football. I'm not going to some building and gonna go give some man all my money and let him tell me what to do." Right?
they will if it's some beautiful ladies in there
Right.
who
And that
ready to be
and that
married.
and that's
I
a
need a God fearing man.
right.
That's what they
Yeah,
say.
and that's another part of the hustle. And I had a guy school me on that part of the hustle. One guy literally said this. It's a heterosexual guy who slept around with a lot of women. One thing he said that was, I was just listening to him and laughing. It's a long time ago when I was maybe in my early 30s. And he said, "Look, boy," I said, "Man, I don't want to go to church. Like, church is not interesting to me." And he said, "No, man, here's what you do." He said, "You just go to church and you just wave your hands in the air and you say the prayers and you roll around in the aisle with them." He said,
And
"You'll
they'll
be."
be all over you.
Yeah, he said, "You'll be knee deep in the vagina by 2 o'clock in the afternoon, because there's a lot of sexual repression
I think
that
I saw
occurs."
that in the movie too.
Yeah, a lot. Well, a lot of I just
I
think that,
think they talked about that in the
I mean, to
movie.
your point, I think that when you suppress something, it only makes it come out that much more later on. Like you mentioned that. You said when you deny yourself something, like you know you're a sexual creature, you have these feelings, these things are there, and you're not acknowledging it. You're acting like if you ignore it, it's gonna go away. And then when it comes out big time. I mean, some would say that the freakiest women out there are the church girls. And I'm not saying that that's like something that I'm trying to judge or anything, but I personally think there's a reason for that.
Well, you know what they say about preachers' children.
Yeah,
The
preacher's
preacher's
kids.
daughter
Yep.
is the one, that's why trying to deny it
Hmm.
be surprising you.
Yeah,
Hmm.
yeah, and I also really question. I'm not gonna say it's wrong. I'll say I question this heavy commitment we have to the concept of purity. Somebody being pure, like, oh, I need you to be pure as a virgin in order for me to, to treat you a certain way. I'm not saying that that you should be irresponsible, but what's the difference really between a quote unquote pure woman versus a woman who has had some meaningful relationships that did involve sex? I don't think there's a big difference, and I think about that because I remember there was a kid I used to mentor at Syracuse, and I talked to him maybe 8 or 9 years after I mentored him. So maybe he's like mid to late 20s by now. But when I mentored him in college, he was a freshman, and I remember he told me, I said, so how things going? How's grad school? And he told me, and I said, so you meet any girls? Like, what's going on with that? And he said, yeah, Dr. Boyce. He said, I met this girl, and we used to pray together, and I felt like she was really pure. I thought she was really pure. I said, what do you mean by pure? He said, well, like a virgin. I said, oh, okay. So you 27 virgin. All right. Okay. Well, that's do you, man. That's great. And he said, and then I found out from my best friend that she was having sex with him, and that just made me not want to talk to her anymore. And I said, so you don't think she's a quality woman anymore? He said, no, but she's not pure like I thought she was. And I said, I don't know if I would look at it like that. You know,
Well,
I mean, it's his right, right? Everybody has a right to make a choice. But
hmm.
I remember kind of feeling like, man, maybe you might have passed up on a good woman, because if she likes you enough to sit down and want to pray with you, and even if she's only giving you the
Hold on.
impression that
How
she's
is he passing up on a good woman who's saying one thing and doing something different? Take your contradictory lying ass somewhere else. Like, I don't really think that we need to like support that sort of thing,
right.
honestly. Like, I have a lot of concern for a relationship like that. It's built on a lie.
Well, I think
So that's more of an issue
okay,
with trustworthiness in the relationship. So,
okay,
that sort of thing I would
I
call
can,
the question.
okay,
Like,
I
your
can hear that.
advice to him.
No. I can hear that.
Yeah.
I can hear that. But I also know, y'all give me a yes or no if you've ever seen this. They say that women don't typically tell men about all the sex that they've had. Like, they might know a guy and that they had sex with and be like, "Oh, that's my friend," and not tell him. Or if the guy says, "How many men have you had sex with?" Yeah, sure. The right answer is to say, "Well, I'm not comfortable sharing that," right?
Yeah, if you're
But
not
but
comfortable
but
sharing, don't
sometimes, but
share.
there are some women, and I don't think they necessarily are demons, who might just give you a number that makes you more comfortable. That gives you a number that's not, not gonna affect your fragile male ego. Because some men, I don't know. Y'all tell me if y'all have ever seen this. Some men get real funny if your number is a little too high, and it might jeopardize your whole relationship. And so I don't think that makes her a lying, dirty son of a bitch and a bastard. I
Yeah,
just,
I think that she needs to say, I'm not comfortable giving you. You need to give an honest answer. I'm not comfortable giving you that number. Why do you need to know that number? What's going on for you that you feel like you need to have the number? Get to know me as a person. That's the answer with way more integrity. Have be full in your responses that's true to you. Like, if you're setting up a relationship based on um a false persona of something that's not related to who you are at all. I mean, that's setting it up for failure, because the truth's going to come out eventually, which it did for your friend. And you
yeah,
wasted your time. Like, don't waste my time feeding me BS.
yeah. I'll admit I don't see it that way. I see it as, sometimes if I ask you a question, I don't got no business asking anyway. I
Then
don't.
just say that's none of your business.
I think you could say
What's
that,
wrong with saying
but
that's none of your business?
because
Why are we
because
avoiding?
because
That's avoidant
well, I
behavior.
don't disagree. I can hear that. I totally hear that. But what I will say at the same time is, um, you know, if you tell somebody, like, I've had times where somebody asked me a question I didn't want to answer, and
Hmm.
I said, I don't feel comfortable answering that question.
Beautiful.
All that would do is make them keep asking you over and over and over
Well,
again,
then you end the
and then
conversation. You say, I've given you the answer to the question.
well,
This
no,
conversation's over.
no, but
You can
eventually,
be assertive.
I don't know, but I think eventually they might just assume the worst, and then you get punished anyway,
Well, so what?
as if you're so
But
that
so what? So what?
I don't
That's
know.
on them. You're not responsible for how someone else takes your answer. You're responsible for living in your integrity and living in your, compassion for yourself, and living in respect for yourself. You're disrespecting yourself when you lie like that. So you're living in your own space. You can say, listen, you have now asked me this question twice already. I've given you my answer. My answer is just that we can have a conversation about it if you choose to entertain that voice, but you can say it's something I don't want to talk about.
Well, I do not agree with that. Actually, I will say,
So you agree with
I
being
no,
dishonest?
I agree with the fact that some people ain't none of their damn business,
Oh, then that's what
and
you say.
that no, 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 no,
And
no,
that's
but
what you
that
say.
well, that
How is this your
you right, but
business?
that's the problem though, is that some people don't take no for an answer. They become.
That's on them. You hang up the phone. That's a boundary that they're now stepping over. Like that. I don't feel like I owe you that answer. Goodbye to you. If you keep asking me this conversation is over. You have control over that. You don't have control over how people take it.
Hmm. I hear your point of view. I just don't agree. But I think that I do agree with boundaries, right?
That's a little slimy
I
though.
think it's not about being slimy. It's really more so about the fact that you can draw boundaries sometimes without people even knowing that you're drawing the boundary. Like I'm drawing the boundary. The best boundaries I found are the boundaries that people don't even know that there's a boundary.
Okay.
Like if I say that I'm not going to talk to you anymore, if somebody really, I've done this in business every now and then. If I feel like somebody's so volatile and pushy that they won't accept quietly the fact that I'm not going to deal with them anymore, you know what I do? I just don't deal with them anymore. I don't make an announcement. I say they say, well, where you been? Why haven't you been around? I'm like, oh, I've just been busy. And so yeah, is that a lie? Probably yeah, but because I'm not interested in even. I don't even owe you that conversation of explaining to you why.
But there
You know,
wouldn't be a conversation like that when you can just say, no, this is okay. This is a conflict. You want me to give you something? I'm not going to be able to give it. It's like better in business to really just be very direct and very
mhm.
assertive. We're not talking about being passive, and we're definitely not talking about being aggressive. We're talking about being assertive. Okay, I hear that this is what you would like.
Kennard
This is
said you were
kind
name
of
calling when you called me slimy.
okay. I said it sounds slimy to me.
Mm-hmm.
So the thing is that you're able to affirm in the conversation. We can say, look, this conversation is over. This is negotiations have fallen apart at this point. All the
Hmm.
best to you. I wish you the best. I
Right.
wish you the best in your life. I mean, you could, there's a way to terminate a situation where it's just not total cut somebody off like that. You can just say,
Mhm.
look, I wish you the best in your endeavors. This is not panning out. To have a nice, respectful discussion with somebody is always important.
I think so. But then there's some situations where I'm just not going to deal with it. If
So
it's
you avoid things.
absolutely, absolutely, I own it. Sometimes
You just avoid it.
because well, I can tell you, it comes from a lot of my perspective. Also comes from the position I'm in. I've met probably 30,000, 40,000 people in person. Right, I have thousands of people. I can go to any city in America, and there's people that know me there that are demanding my time. That want to know why I won't spend more time with them and stuff like that.
Mhm.
I can't sit there and have a conversation with every single person and say, "Oh, I'm gonna be direct," because I've tried that, right? I've tried the whole like, okay, I'm gonna have this conversation with you and let you know. Well, some Negroes get triggered. Some people are crazy. Some people
You're not responsible for that.
you're not responsible for, but you
You're
are
responsible for being you.
but you are responsible if
How
they.
they take it is
But
their own
but
thing.
one thing I will tell you, just my 2 cents on just sort of dealing with different environments, is that sometimes conflict resolution does mean avoiding the conflict altogether. Some people you can talk down. Some people you can say, "Look, I'm being direct with you," and blah blah blah. But then they might try to kill you. They might try to destroy you.
I don't think
I don't
anyone,
think I don't think
somebody might really destroy you if you just avoid them.
no.
That you could cause some anxiety in people, but I think it's just the most respectful thing to do to just say, no. No is a complete sentence. You
Yeah,
could just say no,
I
I'm
don't know.
sorry.
I'd be
It's just
curious.
not going to happen
I'd
this
be
way.
curious to know what everybody else in the chat thinks. Like, if a man says, "Tell me how many men you've slept with,"
You can
and
say it's
and
none
you
of your
say right,
business.
and you say it's none of your business, and
If you don't want to give the answer,
let's say he's a real insecure man, and if you don't tell him a number, he's gonna assume that it's like 50. What would you do? Would you just keep saying it's none of your business, knowing that he's gonna assume?
well, if you
Because
actually feel that it's
because
none of your business. I mean, some
right,
people may say the number's 50 and I feel comfortable saying 50.
right,
I mean, it
okay,
all depends on you.
right.
It's up to you to disclose
Right, right,
whatever
but
you
but, but
want.
let me. I'm asking a real question though. I'm not
Mhm.
talking about theoretically. I'm talking
No,
about real
I'm
life.
I'm talking about real
Right, right.
life.
I'm talking about right because I'm gonna tell you, I know a lot of women who are not. slimy, who just won't, who would just give a man a number that, or say, if he says, is my penis the biggest penis you've ever seen, though, she'll be like, yeah, daddy, it is. Yeah, baby, it's the biggest, right? And she knows it ain't the biggest. I mean, come on, right? She's seen bigger, but she's not gonna give him that honest truth, because telling him the truth does not always set you free. If your wife says, how do I look in this dress, and she's looking big and plump, you don't say, well, I'm not comfortable answering that question. That will get your
Well, you try to find something.
what you
You try to find something good to say.
okay,
You
what,
try to point out. You try to be positive.
right, positive, but you know what the best answer is in that situation, in my view, is you're beautiful. You're the most beautiful woman in the world, but you're lying. She ain't the most beautiful woman in the world. She might not look, she might not
Yeah,
have
men call a lot of people beautiful, and you're like, okay, that person clearly ain't beautiful.
right. Right. I
Far from it.
yeah, yeah, yeah. I think if we held everybody accountable for every single lie they ever told in any situation, everybody be going to hell. Everybody be going to hell. Seriously. If I had you are beautiful. You are the but well, actually, you are the most beautiful woman in the world.
Well, people say that to everybody. People say that to a lot of people. Call a lot of people beautiful,
Oh,
and we know dang on well they ain't
when I say you're the most beautiful woman in the world, I'm not lying to you.
beautiful. Of course, I was gonna say something, but I ain't gonna say it.
Ooh, what?
I was gonna follow up with something else, but I won't say that
Oh,
because this is
she getting spicy with
a
me.
little too close.
Well, you know what? The thing is, I'm happy I don't have to lie when I say you're beautiful. When I do really look at you and I say, yeah, I'm in awe of you every day, and I check you out every day. I really do mean that. And I wanted to marry a woman where I
No, not
didn't
for
have to
Mister
lie.
Avoidant, and you just said that it
Well,
was okay to lie.
you
So
know what? Has anybody ever noticed how? Do you ever think back to somebody you dated like 20 or 30 years ago, and you see them later, and they aren't quite what they used to be? And like
you feel like you dodged a bullet.
well, I did. I mean, I remember just kind of thinking about that. I said, what if, like, okay, women tell me not, that you should never lie, and what if I just have a wife that's not appealing, and she's like, do I feel like I look fat in this dress, and let's say she really looks fat. I mean,
I mean, I
oh,
think
well, tell me the truth. Do I really look fat in this dress? You're not going to answer. A man who values his life
here's the
is
thing.
not going to answer that question, honestly.
Here's the thing, really. Beauty is. Ooh, excuse me, bless me.
Bless you.
Beauty. Thank you. Beauty is what beauty does. So beauty is nothing external anyway.
Mm,
Beauty is really who you are.
mm, okay.
Bless
Okay.
me. It really is. So I think that
We'll leave it.
you got to speak. There are some really outwardly attractive people who are ugly on the inside.
Yeah, well, that's true.
I know I can name some people like that. Totally ugly on the inside, but they look pretty.
Good point. Good point.
And look at the Williams sisters. I mean,
Well,
they're I think they're beautiful.
well, let me tell you, their movie was really good.
The movie was good. I think they're beautiful women. I think
Yes,
they're
they are.
very, we ain't heard no scandal related to them.
No,
Their dad is another story, right? But
no,
their
but
dad was a little
he's a
bit of
black man. Of course, they're gonna smear him in the media.
well, he did a lot of stuff
They,
on his
they
own
do you
to
know?
get smeared.
Well, if you look at the pattern, they always smear strong black fathers that
They
lead their
do.
children to greatness. They
They do.
they smeared Michael Jackson's daddy. They
Yeah,
smeared
well,
hold on, wait, well,
he
hold on,
did some
wait, hold on.
stuff.
No, but listen. They
Hmm.
smeared Michael Jackson's daddy. They smeared Beyonce's daddy. They smeared Tiger Woods' daddy. They what's another one? They smeared LeVar Ball, the father of the Ball sons. There's another one. I forgot, but the point is to say
Yeah,
it
yeah.
doesn't.
I definitely see that.
Yeah, it doesn't mean that Richard Williams is a perfect man. But the thing is that the black man is the only man who has to be perfect to be given a certain stature in this country, right? Like everybody
Yeah.
else, we don't. If you look in Bill Clinton's life carefully, you're gonna find Jeffrey Epstein, teenage girls, scandals galore. But they give him his honor, and they accept him despite his flaws. If I look into the background of, I don't know, look, any black or white woman that's seen in an honorable way. If I look, I'm sure if I dug into Michelle Obama's background, I could probably find something that could be painted in a less than flattering way, right? And I think that when you talk about the black male, it's kind of like this sort of anti-masculine sort of thing where because we don't believe in patriarchy, we're going to be offended whenever a father steps up and guides his children to greatness. So I think with Richard Williams, it's like, yeah, is he perfect? Probably not. He's probably just as flawed as you are. But you know what? Richard Williams did something your ass ain't never gonna be able to do in a million years. He raised two of the greatest tennis players in the history of this world, and that's all he.
Oh, wait,
That's
not
all
even
that.
that. No, no, no. Two of the greatest athletes. I
There
think
we
they're
go.
one of the
Athletes, tennis
best
players, whatever. Right,
athletes.
and that needs to. That's all I need to see on his resume, in my view. Like that's enough. Stop it. At that point, you want to get into he said, she said, his relationships and all that. Fine, unless you're gonna do that to everybody else, don't do that to him.
The movie was a wonderful tribute to him and his legacy, and it
Yes.
didn't get into all of that sort of scandal. It did a little, like it touched upon it a little bit, but it was really focused on his how he developed those women, those girls, and raised them to be phenomenal.
Mm-hmm.
Absolutely phenomenal. Now, I don't know socially what happened that, one is married to a white man and the other one is married to herself, I
That
suppose.
was kind of interesting.
She's married to herself.
Yeah.
I don't know what happened there,
Yeah.
but in terms of them and their success, I mean, bravo.
Yeah, it was real interesting. Serena dated a lot of brothers, but she didn't. She married that interesting guy from Google, I think, or no, Reddit. He was a co-founder of Reddit.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, so he's
I've seen pictures of them together. It's a really unique couple.
yeah.
Just in terms of like just them together.
You just don't see it. I didn't expect it.
It was really, and she does a lot of work. She's very connected to that daughter, which is, the
Oh, I
beautiful
think that's good.
daughter.
Yeah, their little
They
daughter.
dress alike. I
You can
follow them on Instagram, so they dress alike, and it's kind of cute and all
you can
that.
already see that little girl becoming a tennis star like a mama.
Well, how could she not?
Yeah, and you already know she's gonna have the genetics for it. So
Yeah.
yeah, so I can see her becoming a mega star. Yeah, shout out to Serena Williams and shout out to all the strong black mamas out there who are
And I really hope that, I mean, for Venus, I thought she was married, but I guess she's not. But, I really hope she finds love.
mm,
And I hope that she finds the expression of love.
yeah, yeah. Well,
You know?
I think in general, I do think though that we have to kind of assess. I would say this, if you choose to become a 41-year-old virgin, I'm okay with that. Like I don't see anything wrong with that, as long as you're comfortable with that choice. I think it should be your choice, not your pastor's choice. And I think that's the problem that I see is that I see a lot of people, I see a lot of unhappy people, women and men, who are unhappy because they made choices based on what other people expected of them. And those people are not going to live your life. They're not going to endure the consequences of your choices. Like I know,
Mhm.
I had a friend who was a doctor once, and she said, when I grew up, my mother always told me, like, don't be thinking about no man, like go to school, make good grades, make your own money, build your career, all this other stuff. And she said, now I'm 41 years old, and I don't think I'm gonna have kids ever in my life, and I don't even know the first thing about
Not well
a healthy
rounded.
relationship. Yeah, she
You
said,
just get so pigeonholed into one area of your life and you didn't develop other areas of your life.
yeah, yeah. She said she was
Hmm.
lonely. She said, I'm lonely. And she said, I don't care nothing about making a whole bunch of money and being the head of
Hmm.
surgery and all this other stuff. She said, I want, my mother misled me, like, and so I'm not saying that that's
Yeah, I
wrong.
mean,
I would just say,
mhm.
that, you make your own choice. Like when it comes to your life, make your own decision.
Yeah, I was just gonna say that, one of those five regrets that people have before they die. One of those regrets is that I wish I had made decisions that were best for myself and not trying to please other people.
Mm,
I wish I had spoken out and told the truth about things and talked about how, oh, this is really interesting. People wish they hadn't avoided those conversations and just spoke their truth,
mm,
said what they needed to say to people instead of like being fearful and not talking to people. I wish I had spent more time with the people who cared about me. I mean, these are regrets. I wish I hadn't worked so much. I wish I hadn't what did they say? It was another one. I wish I had lived my life and made decisions based on what I wanted.
mm.
Those are the regrets of people who are dying. hours before they die. That's what they
Mm,
say.
wow, that's heavy. All right, well, keep that in mind, everybody. By the way, those are pictures of Serena with her daughter. I don't know her daughter's name, but she's very pretty.
She is
I
pretty.
think that's really awesome. Look at that, mommy daughter love. You gotta love it. All right, everybody. Well, we're about to head on out of here. If you want to follow Alicia, she's a licensed therapist and full professor of social work. Feel free to follow her at coachingwithdralicia.com or at coaching with Dr. Alicia. She sees clients and does, a lot of really good stuff. And me, I'm Dr. Boyce
Who are
Watkins.
you, boys?
Well, you know what? My website is boycewatkins.com. So
There you go.
I assume a few people might know where that is if you want to hear from me. And I know the stock market's crashing right now. So
Uh oh.
you guys are going to hear from me later on today, and I'll kind of break that down for you. So God bless you. Have a good day. It was nice. Please hit the thumbs up button before you go. Thumbs up, thumbs up, thumbs up. And make sure you subscribe to the channel. And we are gone. Take care.
Bye bye, everyone.